It's often said that the age of the movie star is over, but between you and me, I'm still pretty confident that a stacked cast can get anyone excited for a new movie. And sure, a movie project having a bunch of A-list stars to its name doesn't mean that it's necessarily gonna turn out any good. I mean, just look at last year's Amsterdam for an example of a stacked cast leading to a pretty poor movie. But sometimes it is an indication that there's a lot of quality in a script or a certain director that big name actors gravitate towards. Other times, of course, it might just mean there's a really big payday on offer. But even then, if the cast is having fun and we've managed to assemble a bunch of A-list stars and great character actors, it means that the audience will have a good time as well. So, with all of this in mind, I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 upcoming movies with insane casts. Number 10, Asteroid City. Now, director Wes Anderson isn't exactly a stranger when it comes to amassing incredible ensemble casts. But for his upcoming movie, Asteroid City, Anderson has well and truly gone above and beyond with one of the most insane casts the director has ever courted. In fact, it counts over 20 name actors who you'll definitely recognize, who amongst them have 5 Oscar wins and 20 Oscar nominations, so, you know, not short of talent there. Okay, this is a big list, so here we go. In Asteroid City, you've got Jason Schwartzman, Scarlett Johansson, Tom Hanks, Jeffrey Wright, Tilda Swinton, Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Adrian Brody, Liev Schreiber, Hope Davis, Steve Park, Rupert Friend, Maya Hawke, Steve Carell, Matt Dillon, Hong Chow, Willem Dafoe, Margot Robbie, Tony Revolori, Jake Ryan, and Jeff Goldblum. Now, with a cast list like that, you can absolutely bet that most of these are probably just going to be little cameo appearances, but still, that's a whole lot of fun, and getting all of these actors on screen together in whatever capacity is still going to make Asteroid City a pretty big event. Number 9, Fast X. Say what you will about the Fast and Furious movies, but they do have a knack for getting the biggest Hollywood talent into their movies in one form or another, even if that means bringing certain characters back from the dead because the actor is just too good to lose. And with Fast X being the penultimate installment into the long-running franchise, it's probably no surprise that the filmmakers have gone all out, especially when it comes to the new additions. First and foremost, we have Brie Larson and the legendary Rita Moreno joining the family, the latter playing Dom's grandmother. That means Fast X will have 4 Oscar winners amongst its ensemble, joining franchise mainstays Helen Mirren and Charlize Theron. It doesn't stop there though. Jason Momoa will portray the primary villain Dante Reyes, Reacher star Alan Ritchson portrays a shadowy agent, Daniela Melchior appears as Brazilian street racer Isabel, and Michael Rooker and Cardi B will also reprise their small roles from F9. Again, no matter what you think about these movies, Fast X has amassed an incredibly decorated cast for what is essentially a series about vehicular mayhem. And of course, also family. Number 8, Fool's Paradise. For his long gestating directorial project, Charlie Day has pretty much called in every single favour when it comes to the actors that have boarded the project. That's because beyond Day himself starring, the ensemble includes Ken Jeong, the late great Ray Liotta, Kate Beckinsale, Adrian Brody, Common, Jason Sudeikis, Edie Falco, John Malkovich, Gillian Bell, Travis Fimmel, Dean Norris, Jason Bateman, and Day's It's Always Sunny co-stars Mary Elizabeth Ellis, who's also his wife, Glenn Howerton, and Jimmy Simpson. And to make matters even more surreal, the movie actually began shooting all the way back in October 2018, with it encountering a lot of problems since then. Plus, with Day shooting additional scenes with Jeong, Brody, Beckinsale, and Liotta, who has since passed away last year, it's entirely possible that these actors are going to noticeably age between scenes, but either way, it's going to be a sight to behold when it actually comes out. Number 7, Dune Part 2. Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 2 will of course bring back the majority of the players from Dune Part 1, which in and of itself a few years ago was memed to death for having an absolutely insane cast, and living up to that reputation, the new movie is bringing along a bunch of new faces. Firstly, the great Christopher Walken will play, and I'm so sorry about this by the way, I'm going to butcher all of these sci-fi Dune names, I've only ever seen them written down. I apologise in advance to the hardcore Dune fans out there, but bear with me, I've not seen the movie yet. Christopher Walken will play Emperor Shaddam IV, while Florence Pugh stars as his daughter, Princess Urulin, while Lea Seydoux will appear as the Emperor's confidant, Lady Margot. And recent Oscar nominee Austin Butler joins the ensemble as Fade Rautha Harkonnen, the role which, by the way, was played by Sting in the David Lynch version. And because all of that isn't enough, this is all in addition to the returning likes of Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Zendaya, Charlotte Rampling, and of course, Javier Bardem. And for one more cherry on top of this cake, it's also been confirmed that Tim Blake Nelson, who was an absolutely fantastic character actor you will definitely recognize and probably love, has also joined the cast. So, yeah, get the memes in again, guys. This is gonna be crazy. Number 6, Killers of the Flower Moon. Though Martin Scorsese's new crime film, Killers of the Flower Moon, which, by the way, absolutely is in desperate need of a new picture to put in thumbnails, because I'm sick of looking at this one. I'm sick of looking at it. It's like everyone's joke it's becoming the whale of this year, and just drop a trailer. We need a little bit more footage. Please, Marty. Come on, it's time. Where was I? What was I saying? Oh yes, of course. While Killers of the Flower Moon doesn't necessarily pack the same A-list cast that some of the other movies that we've talked about so far do, it does still have an incredibly strong ensemble cast of character actors with a few A-listers in there. The adaptation will star Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons, Brendan Fraser, John Lithgow, Lily Gladstone, and most unexpectedly of all, former White Stripes member and current solo artist, Jack White. How does Jack White fit into this whole thing? I have no idea. I guess we're gonna have to sit through 3.5 hours to figure that out, which I will do willingly, by the way, Marty. You're the only person who can get away with making long movies in my book. Anyway, while it's little surprise to see Scorsese reteaming with regular collaborators DiCaprio and De Niro, the acting duo have never actually starred together in a Scorsese film, which alone makes this one of the year's most exciting casts. And when you throw in the rest of the talented ensemble, including the criminally underappreciated Lily Gladstone, this has the potential to nab Oscar nominations for pretty much everyone in one of the main categories. Number 5, Oppenheimer. Casting announcements for Christopher Nolan's upcoming biographical drama film Oppenheimer was so frequent last year that fans just started joking that it would practically be easier to just announce who isn't in the movie rather than who is. And that's because beyond Cillian Murphy playing the lead role of theoretical physicist John Robert Oppenheimer, he'll be joined by, and take a big breath, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, Rami Malek, Florence Pugh, Benny Safdie, Michael Angarano, Josh Hartnett, Kenneth Branagh, Dane DeHaan, David Krumholtz, Alden Ehrenreich, Matthew Modine, Jack Quaid, David Dastmalchian, Jason Clarke, Josh Peck, Devon Bostick, Alex Wolff, Tony Goldwyn, James Darcy, Matthias Schweighofer, Gustav Skarsgård, Gary Oldman, and Olivia Thirlby. Big breath. So, as you can probably surmise by that stacked cast list, pretty much everyone and their mums in Hollywood is desperate to work with Christopher Nolan. And with this being Nolan's first non-WB movie in absolutely ages, it's easy to see why. There's a lot riding on this film, and let's hope it's an absolute banger. Number 4, Maxine. The first 2 entries in a Ty West surprise slasher series, those of course being Pearl and X from last year, weren't exactly stacked with A-listers or well-known names. Yet for the upcoming threequel, Maxine, West has been able to round up a bunch of name actors, most likely thanks to the unprecedented success of the previous 2 movies, which was shot back-to-back, by the way, for just a budget of $1 million each. It's fair to say that this new one is going to be a little bit higher than that. In addition to Mia Goth reprising the role of aspiring adult film star Maxine, she will be joined by Elizabeth Debicki, Michelle Monaghan, Bobby Cannavale, Lily Collins, Halsey, Giancarlo Esposito, and most surprisingly of all, Kevin freaking Bacon. Now, this time last year, nobody could have foreseen just how successful these movies were going to be, that they would warrant such a stacked cast, but in my opinion, as a huge fan of Ty West's movies, this is long overdue. This is really great to see. Number 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Parts 1 and 2. The first entry into the 2-part finale of the entire Mission Impossible series will see pretty much every big cast member return from the previous flicks. Well, with the tragic exception of Jeremy Renner, who has unfortunately been on the bench since the 5th movie. But in addition to Tom Cruise, Rebecca Ferguson, Ving Rhames, and Simon Pegg, new cast members include Haley Atwell, Isaiah Morales, Paul McClementeef, Shea Wiggum, Carrie Elwes, and Rob Delaney. Vanessa Kirby will also reprise her small role from the previous film, and most unexpectedly of all, Henry Czerny will return once again to play former IMF director Eugene Kittredge, who we last saw all the way back in the first movie nearly 30 years ago now. 30 years ago. How does that make sense? My mum used to love that movie. I used to see it so much as a kid. She's actually not asked about it now. She won't watch these new ones, but she really liked that first one. Now, not content to be outdone, the already shot Part 2 has also added the brilliant likes of Nick Offerman, Holt McCallany, Janet McTeer, and Ted Lasso's Hannah Waddingham into the mix. So yeah, can't wait for both of these films. Number 2, Barbie. Honestly, the note-perfect casting of Margot Robbie as Barbie and Ryan Gosling as Ken pretty much guaranteed that everyone who uses the internet will be going to see Greta Gerwig's upcoming film. But since that announcement, we finally had a proper look at the rest of the ensemble and the people playing other versions of Ken and other versions of Barbie alongside their friends, and my guys, this broke the internet a little bit. Though the trailers have kept the story largely under wraps, they have revealed the existence of many different Barbies and Kens in the film. And on the Barbie side, we have Kate McKinnon, Issa Rae, Harry Neff, Alexandra Shipp, Emma Mackey, Dua Lipa, Nicola Coughlan, and Ritu Arya, who will play the various versions. While for Ken, we've got Kingsley Ben-Adir, Simu Liu, and Ncuti Gatwa, who will play his alternatives. And that's not all, because we've also got Michael Cera in there playing Alan, Ken's best friend, who I did not know existed, alongside Emerald Fennell as Midge, Barbie's best friend, as well as Will Ferrell playing the CEO of the toy company in general. On top of that, we've got Helen Mirren, who narrates the movie, and America Ferrera, Rhea Perlman, and John Cena, who have all been cast in unknown roles. So yeah, essentially this thing is going to be absolutely stacked with cameos, and from what we've seen so far, that can only be a good thing. This thing looks completely wild. Number 1, Megalopolis. Francis Ford Coppola's decades in the making Megalopolis has finally wrapped shooting, and it's pretty clear that the famed director has used every single favor that he could possibly have, and all of the clout that he has in the film industry, to amass an insane cast for what's supposed to be his final movie. In it, we've got Adam Driver, Natalie Emmanuel, and Forrest Whitaker, who all star in the lead roles, while the rest of the cast is filled out by Jon Voight, Lawrence Fishburne, Aubrey Plaza, Jason Schwartzman, Katherine Hunter, Talia Shire, Dustin Hoffman, Giancarlo Esposito, and James Remar. Now, what makes this one so interesting is that, according to alleged on-set reports, this shoot has kind of been a little bit of a disaster. Things have stopped, things have started, there's been internal turmoil, and Francis Ford Coppola is pretty much bankrolling the entire thing himself with $100 million of his own movie. On the inverse of that, that kind of makes it one of the most fascinating movies ever produced, and whether it fails or whether it succeeds, it is going to make for some capital D discourse when it drops. So, that's our list. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you looking forward to any of these movies? And are there any times in the past where you've been burned on the promise of an excellent cast? Let me know, and while you're down there, if you could, please give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to whatculture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't though, I've been Josh. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.